ammunition. You know, when I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions that are very powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else. But these are a little bit older type, equally as effective, and it's things that we have so much. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
Russia seems to have increased their attacks on
I know,
civilian areas.
yeah.
Concerned you, Mr. President.
Well, look, we're not involved from the standpoint, we're separated by an ocean, but I hate to see 25,000 young people a month get killed, and that's what's happening. Between Russia and Ukraine, they're losing on average 25,000, mostly soldiers, a month. And, you know, we're working on it, and I think we're making progress, but it's a violent, very violent war. There's a lot of hatred in that war, a lot of hatred between the two leaders. I settled 8 wars. I thought this would be maybe one of the easier ones, and it turned out to be the most difficult. But progress is being made. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, fellas.
We've got a long way to go before this day is through, but to be here at the midpoint of this day and to be able to, as my colleague and my friend from Delaware has stated, to be able to celebrate an accomplishment is a reminder that we do good here. And we don't do good on our own. It takes teamwork. It takes cooperation and collaboration. It takes advocacy. And this is really what makes me just filled with a level of optimism and hope as we're talking about where we are at this moment for the ALS community. The House passed the Accelerating Access to Critical Therapies for ALS Act. We call it Act for ALS. They passed it a few weeks ago, and then the Senate was able to pass it in wrap-up. Yes, that means it passed by unanimous consent here yesterday. And we're now in this final step of reauthorizing a program that is making a real difference for people living with ALS. And I think it's so important to just take a step back and say, what does that mean? Because we have not found the cure, unfortunately, for ALS. This legislation is not about this magical treatment that has come to be. But what we were able to do, working together now 5 years ago, when we passed the Act for ALS Act, we created this pathway for individuals. It's kind of a roadmap. And we said, if you're not eligible to participate in clinical trials to access investigational treatments, there's another way here for you. We provided some pretty important funding to NIH and to FDA to accelerate the research, to improve the data sharing, to help speed up the development of new therapies. But what really comes about with the Act for ALS is it gives people who are living with ALS the opportunity to try. Just let me try something. It might not work, but let me try, because right now the diagnosis that I'm living with offers no hope. And so this is something that gives those living with ALS some hope. This is a program that works. And so we passed it 5 years ago. What we have now done is a reauthorization that allows us to build on this progress that we've made to ensure that individuals that are living with ALS can continue to access these clinical trials and the programs that continue to meet the needs of the patients and the researchers. And Senator Coons has mentioned the advocacy, those caregivers, those who stand with and are wrapping their arms and their hearts around their loved ones who are dealing with ALS. This is about hope for them as much as those who are living with this dreaded disease. And my friend has acknowledged the name of those that he calls friends. Dan Tate was able to receive a text message on passage of the reauthorization here, saying, you know, go dudes or something like that. I don't know that I'm a dude, but I loved the enthusiasm that he had. Brian Wallach has been extraordinary partner in the years. You mentioned Sandra Abrevia, absolutely. And then my personal advocate, my cousin, Jenny Dwyer. It was through Jenny's husband, Pat, that our family learned of ALS, as Pat lived with ALS for eight years. And as a family, we came to not only understand the disease and the awful progression, but it allowed us to understand some of what families who live with the heartbreak, almost daily heartbreak, as you're watching your loved one progress through this diagnosis. So to the advocates, know